Jayden Daniels is making headlines for all the wrong reasons. You would think he is making the news because the team is prepared to make it to the Super Bowl. They're making acquisitions that is going to guarantee that they at least be in the second round, third round of the playoffs. That team, but he's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. And I tell y'all, man, this entitlement is getting out of hand. This entitlement is reaching new levels for these new era athletes. And Jayden Daniels, he's feeling disrespected. He's feeling disrespected because LSU is allowing another player to wear number 5. Go figure. Profoundly disrespected. Not just disrespected, profoundly disrespected. Jayden Daniels sends cease and desist to LSU over number 5 jersey. While Daniels' number 5 jersey has not yet been retired by LSU, Pickett's use of the number marks the first time another LSU player has worn it since Daniels left the program for the NFL. That's DJ Pickett, cornerback. He's wearing number 5 for the University of LSU, right? The Daniels family is deeply disappointed and feels profoundly disrespected by LSU's decision to give Jayden's number to another player. Daniels' spokesperson said a statement to ESPN. Jayden and his family had every reason to believe that the number would remain a meaningful part of his LSU legacy and would be honored and protected in recognition of his extraordinary contributions to the university. Extraordinary, huh? Daniels' spokesperson also said Daniels has made it clear that he did not want his number given to another player and believed LSU would respect his wishes. In Daniels' cease and desist letter, attorney Adam Kenner said Daniels' contract with LSU allowed the school to use his name, image, and likeness for 180 days after his final college football game. So let me get this straight, right? Jayden Daniels requested LSU. He requested to LSU. Jayden Daniels' request to LSU was not to let another player wear his jersey. Listen to that. Jayden Daniels, he requested to LSU not to let another player wear his jersey. Can you believe that? That is some bold freaking stuff right there. LSU never reached out to him to tell him or his team that they wanted to retire his jersey. He reached out to them. This is some narcissistic behavior right here, right? And I think this is coming strictly from an emotional standpoint. Man, he's all, man, come on, man. This is out of control. Now, I understand there were rules, and it was the 180-day basis where the team and the institution is not allowed to use Jayden Daniels' likeness anymore. What are we talking about here? I feel like this is just being egotistical, wanting to have your way because you have fame and notoriety. You have a following. People love you now, And I think this is why we have to stop watching another man. Stop watching what another man has going on. And we have to stay in our lane. We can get sidetracked, get tricked off the streets from watching and letting what somebody else have going on interfere with what God got for us. You understand? Not saying in this situation, but just in general. Can't worry about what another man has going on. I never heard of an athlete tell a team or his alma mater, don't let another player wear his jersey. This is the first to me, But it seems like as a player, and like these, I always talk about offensive players and defensive players. I tell y'all that the offensive players are the most egotistical players of them all. And I think once Jayden Daniels found out that LSU is allowing a cornerback, not another quarterback, a cornerback wear his jersey, number 5, all hell broke loose. He couldn't believe it. But this is the soft shit I be talking about, man. Get out your feelings. Stop worrying about the wrong stuff. And if we're talking about Joe Burrows, if he wants to compare himself to Joe Burrows won LSU a national championship and went undefeated, of course, while Jayden Daniels took LSU to the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. He took him to the Cheez-It Bowl. What are we talking about here? Then he got Cam Newton. Cam Newton jersey's retired. He won a national championship. He won the national championship along with the Heisman Trophy. The Heisman Trophy alone isn't good enough to have a player's jersey retired. You know, unless that player is playing for a smaller institution, like when I went to UCF, an up-and-coming college, a team that probably never had a Heisman Trophy winner in program history. Now, I think the playmaker, if y'all don't know who the playmaker is, you got to know who the playmaker is. He's everywhere, man. The playmaker, Michael Irvin. You know, I think he has a pretty good perspective of why you shouldn't want your jersey retired. Let's check him out.
I want my number retired. When you retire the number, oh, they put it in the rafters. And as soon as you leave time and go to eternity, they say, oh, lost Michael today. Back to the game. That's it. That's all you get. That's the only time you get your flowers. When C.D. Lamb wearing number 88, every Sunday he step on the football field. When he misses a ball, they said Mike Irvin wouldn't have dropped that. If he catches if he catches the ball, they said look like Mike Irvin. So no matter what, I get my flowers every Sunday. I don't understand why everybody don't do this.
Shout out to Mike, man. He's the best, man. He is the best. And if I was a coach, man, I would want a team full of players with the same mindset, like the playmaker himself, man. He epitomizes what a team player should be like on and off the field. Y'all see him with his hurricane pride. On and off the field, man. He's an awesome dude, man. He's an awesome dude. Yeah, we all have mistakes and things we mess up in life and things, you know, but he's an awesome dude. Now, Jayden Daniels, man. Now, I want to hear the rules. And we're going to talk about it once I read the rules to everyone, right? I want to go over the rules that govern colleges, you know, to have the right for players NIL, you know, once they sign to the college. Because obviously, once you sign all this paper to come to a college, I mean, that's the goal, right? Get an opportunity. You know, I know we the prize, man, and now we're entitled because, you know, we're due some of the revenue sharing. We're due a part of the pot now. But at the end of the day, man, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. So here are the rules, you know, that governs, you know, players, NIL, when they sign with a college. Check it out. Here you go. Why schools can still use the likeness. Historical and editorial use. Universities have a protected right to report or archive and display their own athletic history, record books, and past game broadcasts. Prior agreements, the standard consents, forms, and media waivers signed upon joining a college team generally release rights of non-commercial institutional archive and promotional displays. First Amendment and fair use, using an athlete image in a historical recap, Hall of Fame display, or yearbook archive falls under protected institutional record keeping rather than a commercial endorsement. All right? That's when the institution have rights to a player and his likeness. When an athlete might have control. Direct commercial endorsements. If a university tries to use a player's image to explicitly endorse a commercial product, sell a standalone brand merchandise like a specific jersey with their name years later without a group license agreement, or feature them in a paid corporate advertisement after they have left, the rules change. right of publicity. Outside of an institutional history and team archives, individuals maintain state-level rights of publicity, preventing third parties, and sometimes universities stepping outside standard athletic promotions from exploiting a former player's identity for commercial profit without consent or compensation. Yeah, so like we knew, Jayden Daniels has a point. He is within his rights, and he is within his rights to ask LSU to discontinue using his likeness. But is that morally correct? Logically, you're correct. But morally, how does the fans, the city, the town, Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, they're gonna feel they want to go represent Jayden Daniels, buy their grandson a Jayden Daniels jersey? I don't know. I'm just thinking of things where, people want to continue to support him and they're not allowed to because there's nothing available. Yes, you can go on the internet and find whatever you want from Jayden Daniels. But I think this all boils down to how Joe Burrows is being treated, and that is what's bothering Jayden Daniels and his camp. And that is just totally wrong. Stop worrying about what another man has going on, And unless you're on that same level. If you win a national championship, the argument is obviously the perfect argument. You have a right to argue if you won a national champion and a Heisman Trophy. And, at the same time, they didn't even retire Joe Burrow's jersey. It's not an official retirement. We understand that, what's understood doesn't need to be said, that they're not going to not let anyone wear that jersey unless an exception to the rule comes along or something like that. You understand? So I think Jayden Daniels, he's going to realize what he's done and the request he's made, sending a cease and desist letter to his college was the absolutely wrong way to handle this situation. And I think he's going to regret it at the end of the day. And yeah, man, we'll see how life goes. They need to be worried about making it to the playoffs, advancing past the second round. That's what Jayden Daniels and the Commanders need to worry about.